I asked 100 women one question. Why did you ghost the perfect guy? Not the creep, not the asshole. The perfect one. The flowers, the texts, the listening, the remembered details, the good job, the nice family, the guy who checked every box. And their answers? They didn't make me nod. They made me sick. Because I saw myself in every single one. I saw every text I sent, every date I planned, every compliment I gave. And I realized I wasn't being romantic. I was being a checklist. I wasn't being present. I was being pleasant. And pleasant is the fastest way to become invisible. So I'm going to give you the raw data, the actual words from actual women. No filter, no softening, just the truth about why perfect gets ghosted. And why the guy who forgets birthdays but remembers who she is gets kept. If you're ready to hear what 100 women actually said, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Next week, I'm breaking down the exact shift that turns a ghosted man into a kept man. You don't want to miss it. He was perfect on paper and empty in person. This was the number one answer. Not number 2, not number 5. Number 1. By a landslide. Woman after woman saying the same thing. He did everything right, and nothing real. The flowers felt like a subscription. The compliments felt like auto-replies. The listening felt like waiting for his turn to speak. He was a performance of a boyfriend, not a person having a relationship. And the worst part? He thought the performance was working, because she never complained, because she smiled, because she said thank you. But inside, she was drowning in the emptiness of being with someone who was always doing everything right and never actually being there. One woman said it like this. I felt like I was dating his resume, and his resume was impressive, but I wasn't in love with a resume. Another said, he asked about my day, but he didn't want the answer. He wanted the points for asking. Perfect on paper, empty in person. That's the number one reason. And it's not fixable with more effort. It's fixable with less performance and more presence. I felt like his project, not his partner. This one cut deep. Because I did this, I still do this. The fixing, the improving, the have you tried and you should and I just want to help. The perfect guy sees her problems as opportunities to prove his value. She's stressed, he has a solution. She's sad, he has a fix. She's struggling, he has a plan. And every solution, every fix, every plan says the same thing. You're broken and I'm here to save you. But she didn't ask to be saved. She asked to be seen. She asked to be heard. She asked to have her pain witnessed without it being turned into a project. One woman said, I told him I was overwhelmed and he sent me a spreadsheet. Another said, I cried and he gave me a TED Talk. The perfect guy can't sit in her chaos. He has to organize it. He has to solve it. He has to make it better. Because if he doesn't, what value does he have? But his value was never in his solutions. It was in his ability to just be there, to say nothing, to hold space, to let her be messy without making it a mission. The guy who gets kept, he doesn't fix. He stays. He never challenged me. This one surprised me. I thought women wanted easy. I thought they wanted smooth. I thought they wanted a man who agreed, who compromised, who never made waves. That's what the book said. That's what the podcast said. That's what the How to Be a Good Boyfriend articles said. But 100 women said the opposite. They said the perfect guy was too agreeable, too accommodating, too eager to please. He never said no. He never pushed back. He never had an opinion that risked her disapproval. And that made him feel like clay, like he would shape himself into whatever she wanted. Like he had no edges, no gravity, no self. One woman said, I could have told him the sky was green, and he would have agreed just to keep the peace. Another said, he was so afraid of losing me that he stopped being anyone at all. And that's the paradox. The more you try to keep her by being everything she wants, the less you are. The less you are, the less she wants you. Because she didn't sign up to be with a mirror. She signed up to be with a mountain, something solid, something that doesn't move when the wind blows, something that challenges her to rise. The perfect guy never challenges. He never creates tension. He never makes her reach. And without reaching, she doesn't grow. Without growing, she doesn't feel alive. And without feeling alive, she leaves. Not because you're bad, because you're flat. Let me ask you something that will hurt. Are you agreeable because you're kind or because you're scared? Drop the word scared in the comments if you're starting to see it. I want to know how many of us have been hiding behind nice. He made me feel guilty for not appreciating him. This was the darkest one. The perfect guy doesn't just perform, he keeps score. He remembers every flower, every compliment, every nice thing, and he expects appreciation, gratitude, recognition. And when she doesn't give it, when she's tired, when she's distracted, when she's just not in the mood to perform gratitude, he gets quiet, he gets distant. He makes her feel like she's failing, like she's ungrateful, like she's the problem. One woman said, I felt like I owed him for being nice to me. Another said, his kindness came with invisible receipts. And that's not kindness. That's transaction. That's love as a debt. That's doing things not because you want to, but because you want the return. And women feel that. They feel the weight of owing. They feel the pressure of appreciation. They feel the guilt of not being grateful enough for something they never asked for. The guy who gets kept, he does nice things and forgets them. He gives without tracking. He loves without invoicing. Because his giving comes from abundance, not from need. And that abundance is what makes her feel free instead of indebted. I didn't feel chosen. I felt defaulted to. This was the one that broke me, because I thought being perfect was how you showed someone they were chosen. I thought if I was good enough, if I was available enough, if I was accommodating enough, she would feel special. But 100 women said the opposite. They said the perfect guy made them feel like the safe option, like the path of least resistance. Like the choice you make when you don't want to risk anything better. Because when you're perfect, when you're always available, when you have no other options, when your entire world revolves around her, you're not choosing her. You're defaulting to her. And default doesn't feel like love. Default feels like settling. Default feels like, I don't have anything else going on, so I guess this is it. One woman said, I wanted to feel like he picked me from a room full of options. Instead, I felt like I was the only option, and he was too scared to look around. Another said, he made me feel like his whole life, and that made me feel like his prison. And that's the final twist. The perfect guy thinks he's showing devotion, but he's showing desperation. He thinks he's showing love, but he's showing need. He thinks he's making her feel special, but he's making her feel trapped. Because she can't breathe in a world where one person's entire existence depends on her. She can't move. She can't grow. She can't leave without destroying him. And that pressure, that weight, that responsibility for his entire emotional life is what makes her run. Not because she's cruel, because she's human, because she wants to be chosen, not defaulted to, because she wants to be wanted, not needed, because she wants to be with a man who has a life, who has options, who chooses her from a place of abundance, not a place of emptiness. So what do you do with this? You stop being perfect. You stop performing. You stop checking boxes. You stop doing things so she'll appreciate you. You stop agreeing with everything. You stop solving her problems. You stop making her your entire world. You start being real. You start having edges. You start saying no. You start letting her be messy without fixing her. You start having a life that doesn't revolve around her. You start choosing her because you want to, not because you have to. You start making her feel like she's winning something, not like she's your only option. You start being a man instead of a mirror, a man instead of a project manager, a man instead of a performance. Because 100 women didn't ghost perfect. They ghosted empty. They ghosted desperate. They ghosted the feeling of being someone's entire world when they just wanted to be someone's favorite person. They ghosted the weight of gratitude they never asked for. They ghosted the flatness of never being challenged. They ghosted the loneliness of being with someone who was always doing everything right and never actually being there. If this broke you the right way, hit that like button so more men who need this can find it. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you want to keep getting the truth that 100 women told me. Drop a comment below with the word real if you're done being perfect. And if you know a guy who is exhausting himself being flawless and getting ghosted, send this to him. He deserves to know what they actually said. Until next time, stop performing. Start being. This is Mind of Connection. I'll see you soon.